Welcome to Stormy Willow, where we explore the paranormal, celebrate the odd, and never trust the living. I'm your host, Adele. RSVP doubtful.
And I'm your host, Sarah. Boo, boo.
Boo boo?
Yeah, boo boo.
Okay, that sounds about right. Hey, boo boo.
Oh, hello, hello. What is happening?
A lot. What's happening?
A lot is happening. And so we just got back from camping, and I was about to tell Adele a really funny story. And she's like, let's just tell the listeners this funny story. So, had a really nice time with Steven and Birdie. And so we're, sleeping last night. And all of a sudden, Steven's like, oh my God, get off of me, get off of me. There's this bug that's like flying on his leg. And it ends up being like a damn wasp. And so it stung him. And like, 'cause we have this old Volkswagen bus that we're camping in. So, we didn't have anything handy to try to kill it. And so Steven starts punching the wasp and he screams, and I kid you not, I didn't do anything to you. I'm just thinking about people walking around like to the bathhouse and they're just hearing him scream, I didn't do anything to you, and just like punching because he's just trying to punch the wasp because that's all he had to try to kill it with. Oh, that's
That'll
my
be
favorite.
fun. Somebody will be like, I think we experienced a murder one time we were camping.
Right. And I also would like to give a shout out to Spooked because we did listen to an episode of Spooked while we were making s'mores last night. So always good if you like a scary tale after you listen to Stormy Willow, of course.
Of course. Freshen your palate.
That's right. That's right. So that's what's happening in my world. Wasp fights.
Well, I mean, that's some booger news, but I have some other booger news. Speaking about the wild in the South,
Oh no. Oh, the two go hand in hand.
they do. So, yeah, this is June 2025. So, just, I think this past week in Rutherford County, Tennessee, residents were caught off guard this week when a runaway pet zebra was spotted trotting through the neighborhood like it had errands to run. Now,
Yeah.
you definitely have to check out Instagram. I have a video clip of it.
Now, is this the
Airlifted.
zebra that was airlifted?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
airlifted
Same,
zebra.
same. I just want to be sure because the world's going wild right now. So I'm sure there was another zebra sighting somewhere. I have to be careful.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. If you want a good laugh, go check out Ed being, tethered to this helicopter and returned.
It's like I can't take it anymore. I'm not gonna be caged, damn it.
But yeah, the zebra named Ed reportedly escaped from a private property and took off across fields and roads, dodging police and giving suburban dads everywhere the weirdest story they'll ever tell about a barbecue, right? Authorities tracked Ed for hours, ultimately calling in a helicopter to help with the rescue. But instead of guiding him home, they ended up airlifting him. Yes, literally flying the zebra out of the area in a cargo sling. And it's pretty comedic, and it is on our Instagram and Facebook right now. Footage of the moment shows Ed calmly suspended in the air, legs dangling, expression somewhere between resigned and deeply confused. Officials say Ed is now safe and recovering in a secure location. No injuries were reported, just a lot of baffled locals.
I mean, Ed just can't take it anymore. And Ed, I feel you. I know.
It's
You're
just,
basic. It's just the state of the world right now, man.
and I just think it goes to show how much we Southerners love our exotic pets.
We do, like, because is there anywhere else in America, like per capita, that probably has more of these like Joe Exotic farms and stuff? Like, I feel like we have a lot of those
I
around
really feel
here.
like it's a Southern thing. I
I'm
mean,
starting to feel that too.
tell us if we're wrong.
Please, because I mean,
'Cause
I
even in Myrtle Beach,
love it.
I mean, like in the 2000s, like it's probably still there. There's like this kind of out of the city kind of zoo, and it has the most like random assortment of animals. It has one tiger in a cage that's way too small, and it has a huge camel. and like some chickens. And like none of the animals go together at all. So I don't know. But it seems on brand. I was like, when
Yeah, it does. I mean, even, we've talked about it on the podcast a few times, like even down the road where we grew up. I mean, there is a Christian production studio that has just camels hanging out back, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And
It
just
must maybe
like
it's the southern. It's one of those southern things that you don't realize. I think that are southern things. You just think everybody has like Joe Exotics and stuff. You don't realize like, oh, that might be regional.
yeah, like,
Not
oh,
everybody
this
has alligator farms and zebras.
yeah. Yeah, you don't realize.
Oh, has that been your Adele, you lived out of the South for a while. Has that been your experience?
I mean, yes, but I also, since I'm not a local in the other areas, maybe these places do exist and I just don't know about them. I have no
Yeah.
idea. There's that too. Maybe it's like they do exist, but only locals know about.
But yeah,
Um,
I'm glad everybody is safe,
yeah,
including,
especially Ed.
yes, poor Ed.
He had a
On
day.
his adventure, man. He's like, I got to go on a helicopter. What did you do this weekend?
Like, well, Ed wins.
Yeah, hands down. Ed had the craziest week.
He did. Well, speaking of crazy weeks, do we want to see what's in store for us?
I don't know, Adele. I'm about done with this segment. I feel like every week, like, do we really want to know at this point? I think we all know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a typical week that we're used
Yeah,
to, honestly. Like, it really sounds no different from like our last few forecasts to me. But let's talk about it anyway. So, this
sure.
is your astro forecast for June 16th through the 22nd, 2025. All right, so this week's forecast is front loaded with false hope, ends in a soft emotional collapse, but like the cute kind with candles and snacks.
Oh,
We're
nice.
trying we're trying to make it softer here. All right, so Monday, task tornado warning. Mars
Oh,
and Leo has you chasing gold stars like your inner child never got a sticker. You'll feel
oh.
like you can fix everything. Just don't declare yourself back on your grind until you hydrate. So don't overwork yourself. A
Okay, no
high
problem.
energy gust of overcommitment. All right, so just don't spread yourself too thin on Monday. Not too
Yeah,
bad.
you don't want to start your week like that, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Like you're gonna have the confidence to do it, but don't commit to it, okay?
yeah, like just ease that pace, man.
Yeah, so, don't take on extra stuff Monday if you can. Avoid
Especially on
it.
a Monday.
Right. All right. And then Tuesday, June 17th, Virgo precision system moves in. So Mars enters Virgo. Suddenly, you're making lists, fixing stuff, and diagnosing everyone's emotional problems like a DIY therapist with control issues.
Oh
We
shit.
all know one of those. uh, so it's going to be scattered focus showers and strong impulse to alphabetize your trauma. So,
Oh no.
what the,
Okay. That
whatever.
sounds fun.
It's gonna, I don't know what the hell that means or what that looks like in reality, but it sounds interesting. Then Wednesday, June 18th, fog advisory, emotional debris expected. The Pisces moon meets the last quarter phase. You're emotionally soggy, which it always sounds horrible.
You're emotionally soggy. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna tell somebody that. I'm
Feels
gonna
like a
try to
wet
work that
diaper,
as
doesn't
much as
it?
I
Like
can this week.
you're just being soggy. You're not
You
even
know what?
you're
You're
soggy.
emotionally soggy right now, and I can't vibe with that.
It's it's taking my shine. Yeah. So yeah, emotionally soggy, spiritually
Hey,
exhausted, and
shit.
one playlist away from a full nostalgia spiral. So do
Oh.
not watch Wonder Years. That's what
Oh.
you're gonna try to do. It's gonna make you feel
The
worse.
life was so good. We could play in the streets, man.
The visibility will be low, and you may cry over a smell. So
Your
you're gonna
doors could be unlocked. Meow, meow,
don't do
meow.
it.
You're
Don't
like,
do it.
what would you do if I
But then you're
said
gonna be all like, they didn't end up
that?
together.
That's life.
I hope I didn't spoil that just now.
Yeah, if you have, sorry, no.
My bad. Spoilers.
Way to go, Adele.
And Jack dies.
Way to be emotionally soggy.
That's me. That's the forecast.
The forecast is Adele.
Yes. Emotionally soggy and spiritually exhausted. That's the world right now. Hey, but Thursday, June 19th, we have light productivity with patchy dissociation. So it's a surprisingly decent day for errands and edits and emotional avoidance.
Okay.
Feel manageable this day, but only if you keep expectations below sea level. Don't expect too much and you won't be disappointed on this day.
I love this energy. Okay.
Yeah, drifting clouds of competence, mild dissociation possible. So, okay.
Dissociation, that's where we're at. Okay.
Now the weekend. So Friday, June 20th, heavy pampering front arrives, which that was also last Friday, I think, or recently. But who doesn't?
I think that's just
on
what you need to do the week these days.
Yeah, I mean, and Cancer season begins with the solstice. That's also on the 20th. The longest day of the year arrives, wrapped in a blanket, holding a weighted eye mask, and asking, "Do you even self-soothe, bro?"
So that is Cancer energy right there.
Yeah. Forecast: 99% humidity, emotional, and bubble bath barometer rising. And then Saturday, sentimental storm surge. Everything reminds you of something, and it's all a little too much. Expect mood swings and deep dives into comfort media. Wonder years. Forecast: moderate to severe memory flooding. Proceed with snack-based therapy. And then Sunday, soft shell soul conditions. So you're raw, reflective, and ready to be held by a sentient duvet. That is so funny.
I do love a duvet. I really do.
Yeah, that's very Cancer. Let your intuition drive and maybe delete the draft text unless it's poetry. So it's going to have soul fog, zero logic, all feelings, high chance of emotional detours. And that's your week.
Oh. Well, on that note, I do have some exciting news for you all. If you're in the Rock Hill, South Carolina area, it's Rock Hill Pride, y'all.
Woohoo.
Yes. And there are all sorts of events going on all week. So if you're in the area, if you go to cdmercantile.com, or you can just Google Rock Hill Pride Festival 2025, there's a whole list of fun, amazing events taking place this week in Rock Hill. So if you're feeling soggy, get out to Pride. It'll definitely lift your spirits. It's always it's a really cool grassroots Pride. Adele's come. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And it's kid friendly. So if you've got teenagers, kids, there's things for them. Adele, they're doing a Pride prom this year for teens, 16 to 19 on Friday night, which sounds so fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
All kinds of cool stuff. So check it out. It sounds like we might need an emotional rainbow.
Horses of rain. Yeah.
It's always a really good time.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's so cool because it's still so grassroots. And so I feel like it's 100% like a labor of love. So a lot of fun things to do. Adele was here a few years ago and had a blast.
It was hot as shit.
And guess what? Saturday, which is like the big thing on Saturday, it's going to be like 94 degrees. So it's always really, really hot. And we're on like asphalt. So yeah.
Definitely high.
But I mean, there's tons of like drinks, and they do so great at the Mercantile. They even added a space I thought was so cool where you could just kind of be in a quiet, cool spot. Just to kind of, if you need a break from the noise and stuff too, because a lot of people, it's hard. It can kind of make you a little anxious. So they have a space where you can just go and just kind of chill out, have some cool drinks, and take a little break. So they just think of everything. They're just so inclusive, and I love that. So yeah, grab your grab your friends and come check it out. It is a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's Pride Month.
I mean, I can't promise any exotic animals, but you never know.
You really don't.
You really don't. Well, Del, thank you for that forecast. Wow, just another week I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
Oh man. All right. So it's back to me in the studio. So if you will recall, I landed on the topic of a cult last time. And I do want to give a trigger warning here, because this is not as usual when we talk about humans. There might be some trauma here, especially to children, and to women. So if that's something that right now you are just not in a good headspace to listen to, I'm going to suggest you rewind to last week's episode or just get your forecast because everybody needs to take care of their mental health, and this is pretty dark. So just want to give that PSA before we get
You're a
started.
Stormy Willow listener. You're probably like, all right, let's get into this.
Yeah, you probably are, but in case you stumbled upon us and this is your first one, you might be like, "Oh, these girls are sick." So, and it's not us; it's just telling the story. So I want to give a huge shout out because we've covered a few cults, and so I was kind of thinking last week, what the hell am I going to cover this time? And so I found this amazing YouTuber. Her name is Danielle Kirsty, and she is a UK-based true crime creator known for her true crime and makeup. So
Hmm.
this girl literally does a full face of the most amazing makeup. Like she is just unreal and tells you like a crazy story while she's doing it. So she can like walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. Like it's
Oh
amazing.
yeah.
And so I heard this story on her YouTube and I'm like I want to cover it because it's one I had not heard of before. So this one is called The Brixton Prophet. Now this is 30-year cult that was taking place right in the streets of London and no one knew.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a little different. So here we go. I just want to give credit. After I tell the story, you can go watch, again, Danielle, Kirsty, her information, her YouTube link's going to be in our show notes. So if you want to actually watch her tell it and do makeup, I'd highly suggest that you check that out. So here we go. So, what if, guys, the most terrifying cult wasn't in the hidden woods, but on a quiet street in the middle of London? No robes, no temples, just a little brick flat with the curtains drawn. This is the story of Bala, a man who claimed to be a prophet, and the women he kept locked away for 30 fucking years.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't think I've never heard of this one.
I hadn't either. Now this is so messed up. But not only did he keep some women locked up for 30 years, there was also a child that was born of this who literally was born into captivity and raised like a ghost and denied the most basic human needs in her life. Um, and her name is Katy Morgan-Davies. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've never heard the story, it's really going to stay with you. And so before we dive in, I just again want to give a deep felt thank you to the YouTuber for covering this. And I'm also going to tell you because, spoiler alert, Katy is a survivor and she has a book and she tells her own story about basically being raised in captivity. So it sounds like a really cool read. So if this story really sticks with you, I'll give you that information as well. All right, so let's roll it back here. All right, how did this begin? We're going back to London, 1970s. And so we have, I'm going to call him Bala because he has this crazy name. So Bala shows up on the scene, okay? He has a whole lot of charisma and he's like very delusional. And he just kind of, he's like, he starts this left political group called the Workers' Institute of Marxism. blah, 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 blah. So it basically sounds like a joyless book club. Like, it doesn't sound like a club I would want to join, but he
It
talked
sounds
about,
communist.
yeah, right, but here we go. He starts talking about a revolution, but what he really wanted was control. And so here we go. We're seeing the same things, right? He slowly turns his group into a cult. And so, like, he starts talking about like revolution and we need to make a change. And so, these college age kind of women start like following him. And then, lo and behold, he's like, I'm not only a revolutionist, I'm a prophet.
Of course.
Of course.
Oh wait, I'm not a prophet. I'm God.
Yeah. So he claims that all right, this gets super crazy, guys. So not only did he claim he was a prophet, he claimed he was in communication with this cosmic super intelligence named, wait for it, Jackie. So I'm thinking like
Oh,
Jim and the
that's true.
holograms. Do you remember Jim and the holograms? How they
Yeah.
had the what was the name of it? Like the machine that was like from the future that would like
Oh, I have
tell
no
them
idea.
stuff. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking of. So of course he's like, I'm a prophet, and I have communication with this super intelligent system named
I,
Jackie.
I'm not thinking that at all. I'm thinking Aunt
Synergy. Its name was Synergy.
Center. Well, I'm thinking of Aunt Jackie, a little bit like,
You're thinking of Roseanne.
and I'm like, that's God.
You're like, okay,
And
but
like,
life is making sense. You're like, That's it. This is the episode where Adele gets saved because she sees God as Jackie from
at the
Roseanne,
Church of Jackie.
the Church of Jackie. Adele, I've changed. I've noticed a huge change in you. What's going on? You're like,
I
I
got
found.
I got Jackie Harris in me.
You're like, I found Jackie in my life. Well, so Adele would be in this cult because she would think that. Well, Roseanne wouldn't have that out in the '70s, to be fair.
No, but
But if it were like
I think we're
in the
gonna have a
'90s,
revival here soon, though.
I mean, you would have been like, I might be in to this. These are my people.
You had me and Jackie.
I gotta find me a Jackie. So he tells his followers that Jackie could read their minds and get this, cause natural disasters and smite anyone who doubted him. So
That doesn't sound very Jackie.
it's like, okay. So anyway, here we go. Part two. So by the 80s, this group had shrunk pretty quick to 8 women. I think people were like, okay, like you
This
lost me at
guy's
Jackie.
insane.
Like you had me at Revolution, but when you started talking about Jackie causing natural disasters, I'm out. But 8 women were like, yeah, like I'm in. And of course, bless them, they're vulnerable, they're isolated, and they're completely devoted to this goober Bala. And so what do? They move into a flat in Brixton in the south quiet London neighborhood. And from the outside, it appears to be normal. Like nothing's crazy going on out there. Like they're not like slaughtering goats or doing any weird rituals. Like everything seems fine. But inside is a locked world of terror. So no one was allowed to leave. No one was allowed to smile. And if you said one wrong thing, Bala would beat you. Like, just, he was horrible. And so every decision, like even when they ate, how to walk, what to think, was filtered through Bala and the word of Jackie, of course, because that's what they followed. But here's what's truly, truly heartbreaking. One of the women living there, Sean Davies, had a child because this jackass raped these women on a schedule. They had like a rape schedule, like a chore
Mm,
schedule. And Bala's married, so his wife is there too. So anyway,
yikes.
yeah. So he has like this rape schedule where they have their day where they have to be raped by Bala, and one of the girls, Sean, gets pregnant with Katy. And so basically, when Katy was born, Sean never said that she was Katy's mother, never like gave her any kind of love. And so Katy grew up in a flat calling her own mother a comrade. And she didn't know who her parents were. She didn't know what love felt like. They said in the video, like, if she would cry as a baby, he would, like, throw her and, like, punch her and hit her. And, like, she was never held. She was never allowed to go outside. Just,
Yikes.
it's bad. It's really, really bad. And so Katie never played. She never even touched grass or saw rain or a park. And
It's
she grew
like,
up.
do we know if like all that he's doing right now is even a part of the cult, or is this more like now they're prisoners and this isn't even like part of the religion?
So they're basically there on, I mean, he says, I mean, I guess like they could leave, but they're scared that if they do leave, that Jackie will strike them dead. So basically they're there out of fear. Like he's
Okay.
not like holding a gun to their head per se, but
I'm just like, how is he possibly rationalizing all the shit that he's doing to them?
yeah, I mean, it's insane. It's nuts. And so, she grew up believing so that they would tell, and they believed this too. And they grew up telling Katie that the outside world was evil and it was full of disease and demons, and that Jackie would punish her if she even thought about leaving. And like that's sort of the same tactics he used on the scare tactics he used on these women as well. Um, Katie says that the flat was always quiet, always controlled, and you weren't allowed to cry or laugh, and you had to sit in silence and listen to sermons and rage from Bala. And um, she said that she knew that something wasn't right, but I mean, she didn't even have like language. She didn't understand language to even say what was going on. And at one point, like Katie did try to leave and she made it to the police station, but she didn't have the words to say what was happening. So all she could come up with was run away, and they called Bala to come and get her.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it's just awful, but it gets even worse for Katie, if you can imagine. So one day, through a window of the flat next door, Katie saw a boy and he smiled at her and she smiled back. And she said for a second, she felt like what she guessed it was like to feel like being a human. She didn't know. And so basically, they kind of had like this little friendship, and he like would sneak into her room and stuff, and they would have like conversations, and it ended up being romantic. And basically like she gets pregnant, Katie does, and like she's like a young teenager, and Bala finds out, and so he freaks out, and he said that Jackie's gonna kill her and all of this crazy stuff, and he fucking locks her in a cupboard for 3 days with no water, no food, no light, and she lost the baby. She also had a miscarriage.
Jeez.
Um, and so anyway, after that, the windows stayed closed, blinds were never lifted, things were crazy, and it's just this crazy, crazy thing. Um,
But this boy didn't think any of this was weird.
right.
I'm having a problem with
I'm
him.
having a problem with that too. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't understand how, because I mean, he's like a late teen, so I feel
Right.
like
It's like,
wouldn't
this is weird,
you maybe
right?
tell like a authority, a parent, something? I thought that was really weird too.
It makes me,
Um,
he was just taking advantage of her.
that's yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. And not only this, this is just crazy. So in 2013, okay, 30 years into her captivity, Katie and the other women did manage to make contact, not with the police, but with a TV helpline. So a daytime talk show basically helped save them of all things. Like they saw a number and they called and the police raided the flat, and like so the women were able to leave. um and Katie says that she didn't even know how to cross the street. Like she had never seen like traffic lights or a street, and she didn't know how to do any of that. And I mean, she's like 30 years old at this point, and she had to literally learn how to be a person. Now I'm basically telling this story just through Katie's lens, but just so that you're aware, like Sean, her mom, falls out of a bathroom window supposedly and ends up dying. And then there's another lady that ends up having a stroke and dying. And so there's just some things where I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know if they tried to kill themselves or tried to run or if Bala had something to do with it. I
Well, it
don't
was
know.
clearly Jackie.
It was clearly Jackie. But basically, these police come, they raid, they take, it was just Katy and I think two other women at that point because some others did leave. But I mean, this guy just swears that, he's not only now a prophet, he is now a god. And that Jackie is going to kill them because he was trying to protect them and they fled and all this shit, they're going to die. And so Bala was convicted of false imprisonment, child cruelty, sexual assault, and rape. And in 2022, Bala did die in prison. And guess what? Jackie never showed up.
Yeah, okay.
Jackie never did anything.
Well, he never knew the real Jackie anyway.
They never knew the real Jackie anyway. And so it's just it's a short one, but it's sad because it lasted for 30 years. And Katy is like she was born into it. She never knew anything but this. And so it's just absolutely awful. But the book, The Girl with No Name, really goes into how she has spent the last decade learning how to laugh, learning how to cry, learning how to choose. She did eventually find out that Sean was her mother after Sean passed away. And she found out that the boy next door never even knew she existed for years, like how it's like they lived next door, and so like he didn't even know she lived there until like they had that interaction when she was a teenager. So like she lived until she was like in her late teens before her neighbors even knew she existed. um and then she's been able to find out that the world isn't full of monsters and just one man made himself into one. So a scary reminder, like not all cults wear robes. I mean, some wear slippers, some call themselves teachers, and some hide behind drawn curtains and streets just like ours. And I think that's the scariest thing of all is that you could be in a cult or there could be a cult right there in your neighborhood and you have no idea that it's there. But I did want to give a shout out to the book. I'm sorry. I got my names mixed up. It's called Caged Bird is the name of the book. And this is Katy's book and her own story. And she really talks about everything that happened to her and how she has handled her post escape struggles. Um, I mean, she said that she couldn't even do things like brush her hair. Like she didn't even know how to do that. Um, just the rage and the grief, realizing that she really lost decades of her life.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't imagine. But she is very determined to build a life despite never been given a chance in a normal one. And apparently, this book has gotten rave reviews that she's very honest and she also has grace and she never asks for pity, just understanding. One quote from the book says, I was not a person. I was not allowed to be. I was a vessel of someone else's madness.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's a very sad, sad story. And I think the thing that really, I just can't imagine. I mean, you just think like these other women have had a life prior to making this decision to join this cult, but this is one where she was. I haven't come across a cult where a child was born into it and then held in captivity for 30 years.
Yeah, this almost feels like a mix of even just like a weird serial killer kind of sadist, honestly, like and less
Sure.
culty.
It does. It really
I mean, it
does.
sounds like the mind control aspect of why nobody tried to leave, but this is different. Like, I don't know. This is very like I wouldn't be surprised if he had killed people.
Well, and I'm sorry. I think personally that he did kill Sean and the other lady.
Yeah, it's
I,
not that's odd.
and if he didn't, I think he was like say that they really were trying to like she was trying to jump or kill herself or jump to escape. He caused it
Yeah, maybe.
because of the fear. 100%. And so I hate that he didn't get charged for any of that because I think he should have. But yeah, this is a short one, but it's a very scary one. And it did take a different turn. I really liked hearing from Katy, and I really wanted to give a shout out for her because I mean she's such a survivor. I mean I can't imagine being 30 years old. And they said that she had the like at 30, she had like the life skills of someone that was like 7, maybe.
Yeah.
And like how she must have felt so cheated.
I mean, having to like learn to maybe read and do all
Yeah.
that shit at 30 sounds horrible.
It sounds terrible. And she's such a brilliant lady. Like she's so determined that this is not going to define who she is. And I just think that's amazing. And you can see pictures of Katy and like she's just so beautiful and like you would never think that this human has been through the hell that she's been through. I don't even know where you would start in therapy for
Yeah.
something like that horrific. But we just hope that Katy has all the love and success. I really wanted to share her story more than anything because I'm not came across one like you said that was a little true crimey. But I mean, this poor baby was born into this, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of that story, and I forgot her name. Remember, it was in the news the kid that was kidnapped and was in the backyard and the neighbors didn't know it and that fool raped her and she had the baby
Oh
and
yeah, it
then
was not like a few years ago. Or
yeah,
maybe like a decade or two by
it
now.
reminds me a little bit of that vibe as
Oh yeah,
well.
and like the movie Room, like yeah. And it's sick that there's more than one case like
It's
this.
totally sick. And I just think about her surviving. I mean, I just think about a newborn and a baby and a child and all the things that they need. And she had none of it. So the fact that she even survived, and they were saying like these women like had no medical attention really, like their teeth were falling out. They had all kinds of medical issues because he wouldn't like he scared them to the point where the world was against them and was going to kill them if they left, and they believed that he kept them safe from Jackie that created all this. And it's just so twisted and sick, and it really stuck with me.
It would have been so cool if the talk show host they called was named Jackie.
I wonder what talk show it was.
Like, hello, you're on the air with Jackie. They would have been like, what?
Oh, that would have been awful. Oh my God. I didn't think about
Wouldn't that
Lily.
have been
That's
wild?
terrible.
TM. All right,
Yeah,
maybe.
that would be really
If it
bad.
was a possibility.
I mean, Jackie's a popular, it's not an odd name.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah.
especially not in like the UK,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. Is it?
Oh, I don't know, Adele, but this story just upsets me so bad.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that Bala's not here anymore to cause harm.
it's pretty horrific. Um, but also shows the resilience of people to live.
It does. And I just think about her will and her fight. Like,
But that was also just her normal. Like she didn't know anybody wasn't living like this.
that's very true. Like, 30 years, 30 freaking years of her life. Unreal.
Yeah,
It
it's
just really,
crazy.
I don't know, it hits my soul. And I really want to get the book Caged Bird and read it, just kind of for her word. I think it would be good just because I just don't even know. So, but yeah, that's our short, really horrific cult story. Cults are my least favorite stories to do because they deal with the evilness of humans, and you know how I feel about humans. I'm not a fan. So I hate it when I land on a cult. I'm like, damn it.
On that note, happy Father's Day as well.
On that note, happy Father's Day. Yes, happy Father's Day.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Dad, for not holding us in a cell for 30 years.
Yeah, yeah. Probably wanted to. Probably
You
wanted
think if you think your dad is bad,
that. There you go. There you go.
there you go.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
Well, on that note, should we see what we're,
Yeah.
we're covering next
Yeah,
week?
this one wasn't a very fun one, guys.
All right. Let's spin the wheel, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right.
Birdie didn't even hang out in the studio for this one. She was like,
Jeez.
oh, lucky.
I got Ghost, and Sarah's very jealous about it.
I
That's
am.
funny
And it's
because
fun.
I enjoy covering Colts, but I never land on it.
Well, you know what we'll do? We'll have to do a thing. I land on Colt.
You can get one
I can
pass.
pass or keep. Okay.
Okay, we'll add
Pass.
a pass or keep.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in
'Cause
that case, I'm gonna pass Ghost onto you, and
okay.
I'm gonna spin
Okay.
again because we make
All
up
right.
here.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
like how we just make up our own rules?
So you got Ghost next time.
Yeah, that's
Let's see what
cool.
the hell I'm gonna get. Watch me.
All
I
right.
think I want to cover even less than
Okay, I
Ghost.
don't know that one. So you'll hear from me the next 4 times. This is what's gonna happen. You can only pass once.
I got Alaska. I'll still go next, but it's gonna be Alaska.
Okay. And tell them about Alaska in case they're new.
Yeah, so we've also added every state. We'll do one at a time. We've already done Alabama. Now I'm gonna cover Alaska, and that is a new category. So you can pick anything spooky or relevant to the show from that state to cover.
Or you could even do a cult if you wanted.
You could. And I got Alaska. And then
Yeah,
the next time you'll have ghosts.
I'll have ghosts. I like it. I like how we just make it up as we go.
Yeah,
What we do here.
that's
I
how
mean,
we
that's
roll.
how the government's functioning. Why can't we?
And we're more efficient. We're more efficient than the government. We saw a
Yeah, we are.
problem with this and we addressed it, and here we go.
We are. Yeah, I love it. I
No
love
red
it.
tape here at Stormy Willow.
You got that right. Well, there's some caution tape, but no
Yeah.
red tape. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our tale for today. And as we say on our podcast, please stay safe out there
Stay curious.
and never trust the
The
living.
living. They really suck.
They really suck.
The worst.
Just go hang out in graveyards.
Everything bad that has ever happened has probably been because of the living.
True.
Just really think about that.
That's right.
That's why we hang out in graveyards.
That's right. Dead can't hurt you.
That's right. All right, well, later, taters.
Bye, guys.